happy about that, or can Cass level out this series? We'll see any moment. We're loading in.
Yep, loading into the series right now, which is a good time to bomb you with a little bit of statistics, I would think. If BlinG is able to win the second game, he's going to go up against the winner of Bunny versus Jogging Hose.
Now they're two people who aren't hugely known, but they have both shown some really, really good play. And there's some of those I really like that about WCS, where you get some people who are a bit unknown, making their breakthrough, who can really get some cool surprises. So we'll wait to see what happens there. But for the moment, we've got down in the bottom right, the blue Protoss player BlinG, and in the top left, desperate to level out this series 1-1 from Team Empire, the red Terran player, Cass.
Yep, Cass, of course, coming from the round of 32 of Premier League. He was in Group E together with, well, I'm sure you've all seen that group, because that was the group that everyone was watching. That was the group where TLO was playing in, where Naniwa was playing in, where Shuttle was playing in. So that was a really highly anticipated group where, of course, TLO finished first in the round of 32 and showed really dominant performance. Unfortunately, Cass, though, Cass got last place in that group, so that's why he's here, currently facing off against BlinG, and it would be so detrimental to Cass's motivation if he was in Premier League, and if he loses this, he's going to be in Challenger League group stage, which is pretty far away from Premier League.
It is, and it's not the sort of place which you want to go. But BlinG, he's been putting in a lot of practice, and we could see from game one that he really knows what he's doing. He's got some great builds, he's got some great plans of what he's going to be doing. He tries to get himself into good situations, smart play, and he can really follow this series up with some smart builds, and we can see that he's actually just currently going down for the same build at the moment. The gateway, the two gases. Cass has gone for a command center first.
Interesting. So BlinG is scouting early. One of the things that I said that I would do on this map would be scouting early, finding my opponent, and maybe proxying a Stargate again. But proxying a Stargate on this map there's one super obvious position, which is of course that pocket third base, very close to Cass's main, where the oracles can switch so quickly between the main base and then fly out again, and then pressure the front of the natural and kill the bunker off. So if BlinG wants to do the same thing, we're going to be seeing that pretty soon. He is getting a Zealot out right now, out of his gateway. He's got 2 workers in each gas, which is a little bit different from what we've seen him do in last game. In last game, he had 3 workers in both gases a little bit earlier, before he got his third pylon.
And that's a really important thing to note, because that is quite a hit to the gas, which means that any sort of big tech play would be significantly delayed, but does allow him to get a few more minerals out. The probe will scout this command center. This is really important. He's also harassing that SCV, and he will force a second one to get pulled here. That, of course, very frustrating, something that you never really want to happen, and will delay that command center by just a second or two. So, not a massive delay, but a good bit of scouting information, knowing when that command center goes down, and now coming into the main, and we'll get a scout of the 2 racks, and be really quite confident in what Cass is going for.
Yeah, super standard opener here. A very safe opener by BlinG. Going for a Did he cancel the Zealot? Yeah, he canceled the Zealot. Good. So he didn't get the Zealot out, but he got the Stalker out, which is going to give him a lot of scouting information in the middle of the map. But he's choosing to keep the Stalker at home right now. He does see with his probe that the SCV that Cass is sending out is just now checking the top right. And this probe is going to hide himself here. What is this probe going to hide in this position? Look at that sneaky probe, Maddles. It's got something on its mind.
I love sneaky probes, and of course there's no other reason for BlinG to go over there other than being sneaky, because he's already scouted out where his opponent is. It's not like he's still trying to find him, but BlinG, he's taking the expansion, so due to that expansion coming down, unlikely to be anything in the near future. The mothership core is there, of course. That will start banking up some energy, ready for the photon overcharges. But these two just staying quite economically focused at the moment. There comes down the robotics facility, not being proxied or anything like that. So just still playing very, very straight up here from BlinG. Cass pumping out a good number of Marines. Hasn't got any add-ons yet for those barracks, so that's obviously delaying any upgrades and things like that. But generally speaking, Lillian, these two probably going to just sit back, macro up, get the tech they want.
Is that going to be a Nexus? Is it going to be a Nexus? Oh,
yes.
BlinG.
Oh.
Oh man, that probe was sneaky. I was looking at that probe and its behavior was so off. It it was so off, and he just dropped the Nexus in the top right. And he knows Empire Cast scouted that position. His SCV went over there to check if he was spawning there, and he saw, okay, he's not spawning there, nothing's here, I'm gonna go back. So this is the last position that Cast is ever gonna expect a proxy Nexus, a hidden Nexus to be at. This is such a cool
It's such a good move. It's brilliant, and it's the sort of thing which you wouldn't expect it, and that's what's so smart about it, because BlinG, if he's able to keep this up for even a relatively large amount of time, then he's going to get himself so far ahead economically incredibly quickly. And should Cass get a scan off, it's not like anything in BlinG's base is going to really give it away, because he's probably going to see that there's the Nexus down, going to see a good number of gateways in the robotics facility, and he's going to go, okay, he's just teching up and taking a good look. Maybe there's a robotics bay hidden towards the edge of the base or something, just out of my scan range. Nothing to really set off those warning signs. And that just means that I think this is going to be really successful for BlinG. We see Stim is about a quarter done as well at the moment for Cass. He's getting down his first factory. He's also got the +1 infantry weapons getting researched. Double Forge coming out from BlinG as well. He desperately wants to get this into the later stages of the game.
Yeah. Oh man, this proxy Nexus, what a baller move by BlinG. I was hoping to see something weird, because weird games are usually the most fun ones to cast. If they do end up going a little bit longer, I mean, weird games can end really quickly too. So that's something we have to keep in mind. For example, if Cast would like send out a medevac drop and go all the way around to the right, and would see that Nexus, he would drop the units out of his medevac and kill the Nexus, and BlinG would be super far behind. That wouldn't be fun to see.
That would be very fun to see, but for the moment you see a Stalker going up against a Marine. The Stalker, of course, will win that engagement, but his buddies were not happy about that. They're going to come out and say, Stalker, no. And that was the end of the Stalker. That is why you shouldn't pick on people when their friends are just around the corner. It never works out well for you, Lillian.
No, it doesn't. That Stalker is going to be paying for it with his life. The Observer's still alive, though, and the Observer's keeping an eye on when Cass might be moving out. A scan goes down by Empire Cass. He sees the main base, is able to spot that robotics bay, and he's going to think to himself, oh, that's a little bit of a late robotics bay compared to usual. I mean, the style that BlinG is playing is oh so common right now. One gateway expands into another 2 gateways, a robo, into double gas, into Colossi. That's basically what everyone does in the current meta game of PvT, and then either go for 3 Colossi and switch into Hype Templar, or make only 1 Colossi and then switch into super early High Templar. So that's what I'm curious to see. What is BlinG going to go for? How heavily is he going to commit to the Colossus?
Now, I don't know how he currently is doing it, but previously he has been in favor of going for the relatively quick tech switch, and there we do see that the Twilight Council is on its way down, so definitely an indicator that could be what is going to occur this game. But let's take a quick look at the economy. BlinG, he's already up to 63 probes to 54 SCVs, and while Cass has just taken his 3rd, he doesn't have the 5th and 6th gas. That is something that BlinG does have, and any second now, or in the near future, Cass is going to suddenly realize BlinG has a bit too much stuff for a 2-base economy, and that is when BlinG needs to try and move out, because otherwise that hidden base could get scouted, and if it gets taken out, he won't be in a great spot. But look at that, Lillian, a 4th already on its way.
He has to. If he doesn't take that 4th base now, or in Cass's eyes, the 3rd base, Cass is going to think, oh, what? He still doesn't have a 3rd base? Something's up. Something's weird. And he's going to scout all around the map for that base. He's now going to send the Marine to a potential 3rd base spot. Not going to see it, but the Marine on the other side is going to find that 3rd base. And Cass is going to think to himself, all right, my 3rd base is up a lot earlier. I don't have to attack. I can just go back home and be ahead.
And that's one of the worst things he could be doing right now, because he's not ahead economically. Of course, that hidden base to the top right, such an important thing. BlinG is getting down a 2nd Colossus. Extended Thermal Lance is also getting research. Meanwhile, upgrade-wise, it's 1-1 for BlinG up against soon-to-be 1-1 for Cass. So upgrade-wise, fairly equal, but BlinG is slightly ahead. A drop coming down in the natural, though, doing some really nice damage, but a Photon Overcharge will snipe off that medevac, and that means that these remaining units will get taken out. In terms of workers killed, though, not too many did go down.
No, 4 workers killed, did lose a lot of units in Stalkers, and he's going to be forced to cancel his 4th base. But Cass is going to be thinking, I forced to cancel his 3rd base, I'm super far ahead. And he's not as far ahead as he would think right now. More Stalkers being warped in to deal with the drop, 4 Marauders trying to be dropped in the main base. And Cass, he's going to be expanding to a 4th base. And I would say that the Empire player to inch ahead, but not as far as he actually thinks he's ahead.
Yeah, he thinks he's in an amazing spot. He's like, I forced to cancel, I've got BlinG stuck on 2 bases, I've got my 3rd and 4th on the way, couldn't be much happier right now. But that hidden base is still making a nice little bit of a difference. BlinG is still ahead by a couple of workers. Of course, that's not accounting for mules, but he's got his Templar archives now just finished, so he's going to be starting Storm research. He's still pumping out more Colossi, and we can see that the Vikings are starting to hit the field, 3 at a time, but no tech switch ready for Ghosts yet. And if you can get a nice little timing window where you have those High Templar and Storm before there's some EMPs out, you can definitely do a nice amount of damage. But as we've got at the moment, BlinG, he's sitting back quite comfortable in the fact that he's got that top right base.
Yeah. Our Empire player, our Terran, still does not have the slightest idea that the base is here. He's scouted that with an SCV. Like I said earlier, that's one of the last positions he's going to scout for any kind of a hidden base. Another SCV is going to take another base, so that's going to mean 5 command centers, 5 orbital commands. Actually, 4 orbital commands now on the field, and if he morphs that 5th command center he's building into an orbital command, he's going to be on 5 orbital commands. That's a lot of mules, that's a lot of economy, and he might even be getting ready to sacrifice a few SCVs in favor of more army supply, because he's about to get maxed out. Let's talk for a second about the upgrades medals. How's that looking?
Upgrade-wise, we're at 2-2 up against 1-1. +2 infantry weapons about to kick in, but +2 infantry armor is only half completed at the moment. 3-3 already on its way for BlinG, who does have Storm just about to finish. That is going to be really important. And if we take a look, he's got 3 High Templar down, ready for those to start hitting. But the Vikings are moving forward, doing some nice damage to that mothership core. Photon Overcharge is already triggered. Quite a few Stalkers here are getting taken out essentially for free. But where are the Storms? Are they going to hit on place? The Colossi taking quite a bit of fire, Lurlian.
Oh, the Colossi taking a lot of fire, and there's not enough Stalkers to deal with these Vikings. Where are the Stalkers, BlinG? There he goes. He warps in a lot of Stalkers, but he's already lost one of his Colossi. The second one is going to go down, and now he's pretty low on anti-air. He misses one of his last storms. In fact, that was the last storm of the last Templar out on the field, so he's going to have this one Colossus. That's all the anti-air he's got, and if he loses that, and he just did, he's in trouble. So he's in trouble.
Yeah. No Colossus, no Storms, no splash damage. The infantry is going to be able to run somewhat rampant. The third base is going to be a big target for Cass, but he's got to be cautious not to overcommit. He's got a nice economy back home. He's got his 4th base up. He's getting more and more command centers. Cass does love his command centers, and that means that economically speaking, he's okay. But BlinG, he's up at 83 probes. His own economy's coming quite nicely. He's on equal upgrades at the moment, but he's about to have 3-3 kick in, which is actually quite a big window where he will have the advantage there. The first Ghosts, though, they're coming out, and that means these High Templar aren't going to be as effective as they could have been in that last engagement. Yeah,
the High Templar, not really the stars of the last engagement, and they will have to be the stars of the next engagement if they want to beat this Terran army. Even though BlinG is now going to have 2 upgrades over his opponent, it's still going to be a very difficult battle for him, because he's still not maxed out. He's still turtling back, and he's hoping that the hidden base is going to win him the game in the long run. Now some DTs being warped in. The Dark Shrine has gone down, as we were able to see on the production tab, and 2 more robotics facilities going down, so very heavy Colossi production will be able to go up in a second. There's no missile turrets here, there's no units here. Are there missile turrets anywhere? Yes, there is a missile turret at the natural, but the third base is naked.
Yeah, this DT is going to have a lot of fun. We can see a missile tide is getting built now, but 6 more command centers are all in construction. The STVs are trying to kill the DT, which unfortunately didn't realize that he was getting attacked until just there when the camera came over. The missile tide has been stopped building. This DT doing a great amount of damage. This is precisely what BlinG needs to be doing. He is ahead in supply. We've got an engagement coming down though here at the third base of the Protoss player. Nice tight little choke there for Cass, but he's just keeping all of the gateway units back. Storms are being threatened. The Ghosts, can they get some good EMPs off? That's going to be the important thing.
Oh, there's no Storms anymore. There's no AoE damage on the field for BlinG right now. He's going to have to rely on his Archons to do a little bit of splash damage. The force fields go down, but the bio has such an amazing concave. I don't think BlinG can deal with this. He's trying really hard. His Stalkers are dying to the Marauders though, and his entire army has been evaporated. And even though he's only down in 20 in supply, he just doesn't have the army supply. 2 really good Storms do kill off some of the bio, but the base goes down for BlinG.
Now, BlinG has lost that third, but these DTs have done a huge amount of damage behind this. 31 workers have been killed this game so far by the Protoss player. BlinG also has that top right base, and as well as that 4th he has just recently taken. He's also got 3 Colossus out on the field, and he's producing 3 at a time potentially. That is a lot coming out, and the Viking count currently only at 2 for Cass.
Yeah, that top right base is really keeping BlinG in this game, maybe even winning in this game because the Colossi production is completely running rampant. As you said, Maddles, 3 or 2 at the time coming out, and will Empire Cast start his Viking production up in time? He did lose all of his Vikings in the last engagement, so he's down to only 2 Vikings. The only 2 Vikings that he has out on the field right now, they have 30 HP, so they're pretty much dead already.
They are dead, but luckily there are more on the way through. Cass, he's still on 4 bases. He's got a huge number of command centers and orbital commands. He's got 8 orbital commands already down, and he's getting 2 more CCs. He's loving the mules, I've got to say. So that does make up for the fact that he's only down to about 44 SCVs at the moment after that DT harassment. But BlinG, he's got a supply advantage. He's also got those 5 Colossi out, and he's getting a handful of High Templar there. And this is the sort of army which you've got to be very careful, because if BlinG is able to engage this infantry effectively, Cass just isn't going to be able to resupply quickly enough to defend these bases.
No, he's not. Cass is in a lot of trouble. He lost a few too many SCVs there. Okay, if he would have lost 10 to 20, that's all right. He had a few too many SCVs anyway, but now he's on 42, which is half the amount his opponent has. BlinG is now mining fully out of 3 bases. That's a lot. Whereas Cass is only mining fully off of, well, I don't know, 1.5, 2 in total, maybe?
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Cass to be in here, and it really shows from the economy. If we look at the economic bars, we can see that currently BlinG mining just about 2,300 minerals a minute and about 900 gas a minute. Compare that to just under 1,600 minerals and gas for Cass. That's a big economic lead for BlinG, who is now maxed out. He's also getting the shield level 2 upgrade, so he's going to start getting a really powerful army. But Cass, he's moving forward towards this 4th. He wants an engagement.
He wants an engagement, and he's getting one. The High Templar, though, very far in the back. They will not be able to get EMP'd, and there's so many Colossi and not enough Vikings right now. That's the story of this game. 7 Vikings are down. Nice time warp goes down. The Mothership Core gets EMP'd, but the Mothership Core only has 60 energy, so 60 shield, so that's not really the biggest of deals. All the High Templar are still alive in the back. Storm's trying to go down on the Vikings. They do manage to kill the 2 Vikings that were on very low HP.
Now these remaining Vikings have got to do a lot to these Colossi because there is a good number out, but this is exactly what they need to do. Sniping 2 off there. We can see some storms are being used. The Mothership Core gets taken out. There is currently 3 more Colossi there, but Zealot Warpins at the 3rd base of Cass are picking off many more SCVs. BlinG doing a nice job here of forcing Cass back. He's also pushing forward with his remaining units at the 4th base. Going to get a couple of straggling infantry, but will be forced back a bit more, baiting the engagements as much as possible. But Lurlian, BlinG, he's killed 39 workers this game so far, and is currently ahead 87 probes to 36 SCVs.
Yeah, the economic advantage is starting to spiral out of control a little bit for our British Protoss player. He's in a very good position. He might be taking out Cass 2-0 here. The Planetary Fortress at the 5th base is going to be helping Cass out a lot. We'll be able to deal with the DTs. 2 SCVs are harassing the Nexus of BlinG here. He's not going to worry about that too much. Stalker's just going to wiggle over. He was like, oh no, I'm being dropped at my 4th or 5th or whatever base you want to call it. But it's just SCVs. They're just drilling away at the Nexus, being able to do about 75 shield damage to the Nexus. Don't think that's going to come into play.
Those SCVs, they really wanted to try and help, but unfortunately, just not enough damage. Meanwhile, though, we've got BlinG. He's getting 3 Stargates up behind this. And look, he's going to go around. He's trying to get in a nice position. Going to be able to trap a small amount of infantry here out of position. A couple of Vikings also on the way through. But Cass, he's gone straight in towards this 4th base. He's going to snipe that down near instantaneously. But BlinG, his entire army is surrounding a great attack arc. Storm's gonna start going down, but there's so many Vikings just shredding a path through these Colossi. Only 3 remain at the moment. Some Archons are morphing in, and that was not
BlinG.
a very good engagement for BlinG. He's losing all of his splash damage, which he so desperately needed.
He was trying to trap the army of Terran there, but he had all his Colossi on one side and all his High Templar on the left side, on the right side. His High Templar all got EMP'd. Nice storms there. That is exactly what he needed. The 3 Colossi are about to come out. BlinG needs to buy some time. He doesn't have a lot of energy on anything right now. No storms. His Archons are very low on HP. More Zealots being warped in. More EMPs going down. The Zealots are melting pretty quickly. BlinG is now down to only 100 supply, but he has 3 Colossi about to pop out in just a second. And those 3 Colossi, they need Stalker support because there's still a lot of Vikings in the air. There's still 8 Vikings. Where's the anti-air? There's no anti-air. These Colossi are not going to stay alive, and BlinG is going to lose this game. He doesn't have the support for his Colossi. Those Colossi could have really saved his day if he had a few Stalkers to support them.
Yeah, if he had just had a better engagement earlier on, if he hadn't lost all of those Colossi, things were looking so good for him. But Cassie's just got a great angle here. He's in such a good position where the Zealots can't get a nice surface area, and he is just slowly dismantling the production facilities of the Dignitas player. But 3 more Colossi are about to pop, but they're going straight up against 14 Vikings. That is just going to go through them so easily. Now, as we can see, the Colossi pop out, but they instantly die. This is not looking good for the Protoss player in the slightest.
Oh, BlinG was so far ahead. He had such a good economy, but he's going to be forced to GG outright.